You know, as I was deciding this week as to what I would be posting here on my channel, I thought about talking about a certain movie that I watched, a movie that I watched for the first time that is old. I thought about, maybe sitting back and maybe, talking about a TV show or a game. And I was like, you know what? None of it is sticking until something really interesting that I got my hands on that I would say a handful of people right now in the world are starting to get their hands on, and that is AI. Now I know what you are going to say. I can hear it from the other side of your screen. Marcelo, you've already talked about AI on this channel in that video. Yes, I did talk about AI in that video, and as a matter of fact, I would consider this video a part 2 to that video. So if you have not watched that video, go and watch it, because I talk a lot about the themes that I'm going to be talking about in this video today, but I feel like that video is important to understand how far we've come, because I'm pretty sure that I shot that video over a year ago, and today we are kind of continuing on the same subject. So go and watch that video. But today we have reached a point in where AI is now at the point where I mentioned in that video that it's getting a little too good. Now, if you are a subscriber to my channel, you probably saw this. But then again, if you aren't a subscriber to this channel, subscribe right now and hit the bell, because there are more videos that I'm going to be posting about this very subject in the way that I presented it. But if you are a follower of this channel, then you know that a couple of days ago, I posted this very video on this channel, which is essentially me saying like, hey, what's up? We are now on, yes, you heard it correctly, Sora. So finally, they decided to release Sora for people who are Android users. Now, I've already talked about the phone that I have, which is this one right here, and it is an Android phone. It is a Galaxy A53 5G, and it is a phone that I've had now for a little over 2 years, and I think that it's a great phone. It works great, it does everything correctly, and the fact that now it has access to Sora is a really interesting thing, because now I have access to an AI that was originally restricted only to Apple users, but now Android users can use it as well. And let me tell you, I've been having a pretty interesting time with Sora. And you may have asked yourself the same question. What is he using Sora for? Now, originally speaking, I wanted to use Sora to make longer form videos that are probably maybe 20 to 30 seconds long, but unfortunately Sora only limits you to about 10 seconds of creation, which I get it. You can probably be creative in 10 seconds and make something interesting out of that. I understand, but obviously I wanted to make longer form videos. Now, after I got access to it, I said, you know what? I want to get a little ridiculous. And I'm going to mention this a little bit later on as to why I try to lean into the ridiculousness. But I said, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to create some really crazy things. So I said, you know what? One of the first things that I wanted to create was me as a superhero saving somebody from falling to bridge. And it made that video. It made the video happen. So I think that it looks pretty fun. You know, it got my likeness really well. I was impressed with what it did. So then I said, you know what? Let's go a little further. Let's, put me in an anime. And it did. It put me in an anime, which is bonkers to me that it was able to actually get my likeness. And then I said, you know what? Fine. What about if I was a time traveler and wanted to go see Abraham Lincoln? It did that as well, Or what if I was a workout instructor and I wanted to instruct people on how to work out? It did that as well. So obviously all of these things are big and silly, and I try to lean into as much of the silliness and fun of it all as much as I can, because deep down I understand the power that this tool has, and it could possibly be used in more nefarious ways. And in what ways am I imagining that this could be used? Considering that right now we have a large portion of the population that is of older age that could possibly be on this app or be on Instagram, because obviously you could download these videos to your own phone and post them on Instagram. You could put yourself in a very interesting predicament that could fool somebody. You could easily fool somebody with the type of footage that comes from Sora. Now, not everything that Sora does is great. I'm going to say this right now. Not everything from Sora is great. They sometimes get things wrong, and sometimes you can see that, fingers are going through, pieces of paper. There are issues. I am not going to say that Sora is perfect. But the times that it is, you could easily fool somebody into thinking that that is you doing something. So I can understand the nefarious uses for an app like this, or with a technology like this. Because like I've mentioned in that other video that I mentioned before, sometimes you could fool somebody. And I feel like Sora has gotten to the point where, sure, it's not HD quality, and obviously there are videos out there that are HD quality. I'm not going to say that there aren't. But to the quality and to the extent that it is creating, it could easily fool somebody. And that can also be attributed to the fact that your likeness is uploaded into Sora. And, how does the setup process work? Well, you open up the app, they ask you for your name, you set up a profile with them, very much so like TikTok. The whole format of TikTok and Sora are similar. So if you're familiar with TikTok, you already know what you're getting into here when you're seeing Sora. Now, as soon as you enter the app, they also ask you, hey, would you like to upload your likeness into AI? And I did. And the process is very simple. They tell you to repeat 3 numbers, and you have to say those 3 numbers. And they ask you to move your head up and then move it slightly to the left. And that's all they ask for. Just simple things. You saying the 3 numbers, you pointing your head up and then pointing your head to the right. And that's all it asks for. And it creates a version of you that you can see virtually on the app. Now, the process, as simple as it is, it does a great job of recreating your likeness and grabbing certain essences of the way you look and certain facial expressions that you would do. It does a really great job on very, very simple and very basic training, which is very impressive. And you may think that it's only capturing the likeness of your face and your voice, but in fact, it's also capturing the likeness of your surroundings. Now, I asked for it to do that video that I showed you before, this one right here, where I'm actually telling you that we are now on Sora. And mind you, I didn't edit this video. The video that you're seeing is straight out of Sora. I didn't add any effects. I didn't add any zoom effect, nothing. That was all Sora's job. And it blew me away. And the very fact that it was able to capture my background is insane. That is insane. I mean, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but right here, I have all my action figures, and right there, right next to the shield, there is a Batman figure that is hanging on to like a handpiece there, like almost as if it was grappling, sort of like in the game. It's right there. And Sora was able to even recreate that very detail in another video, which is insane. You go over to the other video where it's just me talking to 2 other versions of me. Like, look at this. Like, it recreated the backdrop perfectly. And even more so, when I was training the AI, training Sora to get my likeness, I was wearing a shirt with Venom on it. And every other video that you see of me has the Venom shirt on it. So it goes to show, and all of this goes to show, that to grab someone's likeness nowadays has become a process that is almost banal, almost too easy, which is insane to me. And obviously, like I said before, I like to lean into the ridiculousness of it all. I like to, put myself in situations that I normally would not see myself in. So, for example, me in a romantic drama film, I made a trailer with myself in it. Like, that's one thing, Put me playing the saxophone, even though in real life I can play the saxophone. I would like to just preface this by saying that it's not just an AI thing. I can play the sax in real life. Just thought you should know. But I put myself playing the sax in AI, and it looked really cool. So I'm gonna give it that. I put myself in a Street Fighter style game. Like, that looks freaking awesome. And it's just, it took my likeness and put me there, And I also did another one on another video game where I didn't even tell it what I wanted in terms of what type of game I wanted it. I just wanted it to be a clothing select screen. And ultimately, it designed what looks like the clothing select screen of Saints Row. So I was looking at it and I was like, wow, they put me in a Saints Row game? That looks really cool. So I really do like leaning into the ridiculousness of it all because, like I said before, you could possibly use this tool for nefarious reasons. And sometimes if you lean into the ridiculousness of it all, people are going to see, okay, it's a joke. There's nothing here that can harm somebody from a joke. And as long as everybody who is using the system has that in mind, has the idea that you can use this for innocent, fun, exciting, little videos that you can just go and watch and swipe on, honestly, I'm okay with that. My problem is if someone were to use this in a nefarious way. But as long as we're putting guardrails and protecting people from creating, harmful AI videos, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with all this AI slop that they like to call it. They call it AI slop. But hey, if you're having fun with it and it's not something that's going to hurt people, why not? And I think now is where we like to tie it back into what this channel is about, which is movies and TV shows and, media in general. And how would this affect people in Hollywood? Now, obviously, Sora is in its early stages. This is like very early on for Sora. You're saying like, oh, it's Sora 3. Yeah, it's Sora 3. If Sora 3 right now is like this, imagine Sora 6 months from now. Imagine Sora 2 or 3 years from now. We're going to be able to go on this app and type in like, hey, do this video in this style, and it's just going to create an entire video of you doing what you normally do. Like, imagine for a second that I'm sitting here and everything that you are watching right now is AI. It's not the case. I just would like to preface this by saying you are watching a real me, real video, no AI trickery here. All the ones that have Sora have the Sora watermark on it. But I would be very surprised if at some point in a Sora 4 or a Sora 5, you could essentially make an entire YouTube video. And mind you, there is still competition out there, for Sora. You have Gemini, which with VO3, and then you have, Chinese AI right now that's also doing similar stuff. So all in all, AI is training on all of us in all our videos, in our style of talking, in our gestures. Obviously, there are videos of me on Sora that the gestures just don't add up. But there are videos where I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Kind of feels kind of weird because it kind of looks like me doing things that I normally would, specifically facial expressions. But then you start to think about, the future of AI and how it's going to truly push Hollywood in a different direction. Now, do I think that right now Sora is good enough to derail Hollywood? Absolutely not. But do I see, 2 years from now, a tool like Sora or Veo or some other competitor coming along being completely free, and me just sitting in front of my computer typing down and saying like, okay, I want you to literally create for me a movie talking about Luke Skywalker, coming to Earth and meeting humans from Earth and explaining his experience and, having this entire crazy storyline and just typing it in. Honestly, I see that as a possibility now. As I technically didn't quite see it like maybe a year ago, with, Sora at hand, you can start to picture in your mind, okay, I could possibly sit in front of a computer, type a crazy time story, a crazy worded or phrased story, and ultimately actually create a movie. It's kind of weird to think about it, because it kind of scrambles my brain a bit, because everybody was saying, about a year ago, hey, AI is going to get so good that you're going to be able to sit down and type up a movie and it's going to create the movie for you. And I never thought of it in that way. I never even pictured it being that way until now, which really blows my mind. So I'm going to wrap all of this up with a simple answer to a saying that I said in the last video that I talked about. I said that AI is getting a little too good. And at the time, we were just talking about AI in the form of pictures. And AI has literally stuck it out and actually done incredible things with pictures, to the point where I cannot tell at this point when a photo is AI created or if it's fully taken from a photographer. It's insane to me to even process that in my mind. But now we are slowly getting into the video realm, where people are going to be able to actually take videos of themselves and make it look like they are doing other things that we never pictured in our minds. Whether it's, learning how to do a backflip, or honestly, being a time traveler, or becoming an F1 driver, or honestly, sitting across from your dad, playing cards and accusing him of cheating, or, sword fighting with your dad, or, sitting on a bench telling jokes with your dad, or going to Vegas with your dad and doing a silly dance. Like, that is the type of thing that we are thinking of now when we are creating. But not far from now, and I'm telling you, like, if it's like this right now, in 6 months, it's going to be better. And about a year from now, it's a whole other ballpark. So, do I worry, as someone who wants to be in the film industry, do I worry about a tool like Sora? Not really. Am I worried that people are going to use this to, take my likeness and put me in a video where I'm walking around in my underwear? Honestly, if that was the case, I really don't care. I could be, butt naked and I don't care. That is not going to affect anything. If someone is to make this, use this tool in a nefarious way, that is where it starts to worry. I don't worry it as much as a tool that, maybe Hollywood is going to be using. Do I think that Sora would take away a job of someone like me who wants to be a filmmaker, who wants to either work in editing or work in some form or fashion in filmmaking? Do I worry that Sora is going to take that away from me? No, I don't think that is going to be the case. But do I worry that someone might use this in a wrong way? Yeah, at some point I do think that could happen. But I feel like Sora and the people over at OpenAI, I feel like they are currently working on tweaking and putting guardrails where they are necessary. And I feel like that is the right way forward, as long as we are right now doing it. Because 6 months from now, maybe those guardrails will be circumvented. Maybe a year from now, those guardrails would be circumvented. At some point, they can be circumvented. The point is, we need to learn how and where we need to balance out AI's usage in our day-to-day lives, and ultimately to make sure that it's not going to threaten us in the future. And by the way, I am not talking about like some sort of Terminator AI that's going to kill everybody. Not that. I'm talking about AI as in using it in a malicious way to, harm people or put people in a place where it could possibly hurt them in some sort of way. But then again, right now, Sora is just a tool for you to just make funny videos. And as long as we continue that, I'm all good. So I am going to throw it over to you. I want to know what you think. Do you think that tools like Sora and AIs from companies like Google and, Chinese competitors, do you think that those could ultimately derail, movies? Do you think that something like Sora could ultimately put people out of their jobs? Or do you think that this entire Sora thing is just one big joke where people can just go there and use it like their own personal TikTok? I want to know. I really would love to hear from you what you guys think of AI in general as it's evolving and how that could ultimately impact the movie industry or media industry or even the social media industry as a whole. And I want to hear from you down in the comments. And while you are down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you hopefully in a video that has nothing to do with AI.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene.
Welcome to Movie Savant, where the stories go beyond. We break it down, frame by frame, the craft, the magic, the name. Grab your popcorn, take a seat, let the cinema shine bright. You're with Movie Savant tonight.
Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.